Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Welcome here. Welcome to New and Old. Welcome to, if you are new to this channel, to these talks, to these sessions, then you are welcomed. It is a purpose to kind of go deeper into this mystical tradition of awakening the body, opening up the energy, and allowing us to kind of pull away from life so that we can also really relax, and thus we can transform and move energy through the body, and thus things that are holding us back or things that are like bothering us, worry in the mind or in emotions, depressions, or physical pains of different sorts, or issues of trust and faith. All these things can get a space, get time and intention to kind of be allowed to kind of find a release, find a way forward. So in short, that's what we're doing here. So some of you have been here many times before, some of you are new, and some will see this whenever you are ready to receive it, whether it's today or if it's a month or in a year. There is energy in everything we do. So this session holds energy for you if you want to receive it. So there's a choice. You come here, you are curious, what is this? And then there's a daring to be like, do I stay open? Do I listen? Do I engage? Do I put myself in there? Like somebody giving an emoji or sharing it or giving a donation. It's different ways of kind of engaging with energy. So that was kind of fitting that we were talking about energy, because this today's talk is about the energy body, which I've talked about many times before, but this path isn't so much, since this is the mystical path of life, mystical tradition of awakening. So there are many external traditions. They're more organized in forms and do that and structure, and they will attract more people because they're easier to just do this, read this. The mystical tradition is one that has existed since the beginning of time, and at different times, at different traditions, they have existed kind of because that's more of the internal tradition. And hence, it kind of applies very directly to you in different ways. Thus, this is a very perfect time to kind of engage with it, because the mystical tradition is kind of hidden within all traditions, within all texts, within all of life, within all traditions. They have existed, but they have not necessarily been spoken so much because they are not so rule oriented, not so easy to regulate, and not so easy to fit into different societies. But that is where this can come out, because we now as humanity are more ready to kind of connect with that, no matter where we are, what society we are in. Because the essence of the mystical tradition, that awakening internally, can happen no matter how your life looks. Whether you're a beggar or you're a rich man, whether you live in America or Norway or Russia or China, wherever you live, it doesn't matter, because it is daring to honor the life that you live. And at the same time, in that honoring, you can start to see that there are an outer level to life and there's an inner level. So we're kind of nurturing that inner life. And no matter what you're doing, whether you're a mom or a dad, or you work this or you work that, or you're any place, whatever emotion you have, you can find relaxation. You can find that connection to life. So we see externally people create different traditions, different thought traditions, psychology, or different kind of, yoga, or different tai chi. There's different ways of engaging more physically, more mentally, more emotionally, praying, more emotionally. All these, they kind of build energy in different ways. So there's different traditions. As you see, the teachers of the past, they usually were, their gate was more oriented like in one, either it was mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. And when they just focus all their energy on that one, all the other one, when that kind of resolves, all the other one just falls away. And yet, so when they teach it to others, usually they connect with the ones that like easily connect to that one. And then other ones just do that same tradition for 50 plus years, and then they realize that maybe it wasn't for you. But that's beauty, because a lot of stuff that we're doing in life isn't really for you. It's not for you. It's just something you do because society does it. So that's a beautiful teaching when you realize that, you know, maybe we're just seeking society. A lot of people, connection, companionship in different traditions with your spouse or with your spiritual tradition or with your work. Every place will be beautiful when you realize that it's not so important. Even here, this isn't so important. But here we're kind of like wrapping it up. We're kind of looking at it because there's different levels of awakening: physical, emotional, mental, and all these different levels of awakening are within us, and they move energy differently. The physical doing, that's the masculine, you can push out, you're doing. The more emotional is more seeking. It has a different energy flow to it. The mental is like a different, you're seeing. It's a different energy connection. Spiritual is like receiving. Trusting. So all these, and most people think, well, I'm just going to do it like this book, or I'm going to do it. And then we don't really feel like we're not connecting the way our friends connect or our parents connect with different stuff. So we kind of get confused. So all this stuff, the mystical tradition usually happens unconsciously in your life. Suddenly you're like, I don't know why I'm attracted to this or attracted to that. And I got that job, but it works unconsciously in us. So that's kind of where we are working, where we have been working for many lifetimes, centuries, since the beginning of time. Unconsciously we have been awakening, and yet now we can bring it become more conscious of it. But to become conscious of it is a little scary, because then you realize how connected you are to everything: your physical, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual life. You're connected to everything. So to suddenly see all these all these mental, we're always in a mental war. We're a worry warrior. We're like always connected to all what's going on with our kids, what's going on with our work, what's going on with our parents, what's going on with our friends or society or life or the world. So we can constantly be sucked out there into I need to see them or they need me. And but this is kind of daring to reclaim your power, reclaiming the non-doing of the body, the non-doing of seeking, the non-seeking, the non-seeing, the non-feeling, the spiritual. In a way, like when we do a tradition, some people are doing, some people are praying, some people are seeing, understanding. This path is more of a feeling, but it's not like a depression. It's more of a something is pulling you. There's a pull. There's a feeling that something is pulling you. So if you're new here and you are suddenly feeling pulled to watch these, and you might not know why, it is because most people that come here that have been following this path for a while, they don't necessarily understand it. It's a little not understandable. It's just kind of a feeling. It's like something leads you to show up and wanting to kind of continue tasting this fruit. It's a fruit that tastes nothing, and yet it fills you up. That's the ease. It fills you up with something untouchable, untastable, unseeable, unbelievable. So that's why it's called mystical. And in every tradition, there's always been the mystical tradition. So that's why no matter what tradition you are, you can feel pulled to this because it's hidden within all traditions out there. So the beauty is that now that the world is coming together and being seen, all traditions are coming up, and then the mystical tradition is hidden within every tradition. It is the spiritual connection to it that we can connect to, and then we can harness the energy of all things, of everything we eat, of every every prayer, every doing, every non-doing, every thought. Everything is allowed to exist because that is the freedom that we can have. That the life that you're living is that perfect life for you. And yet, as we start also daring to see it, to feel it, to be it, then we can step into being. That is where the spiritual, that all comes in, and then that's where we come into being, where we can be in everything. We can be distant from something and we can still connect with it and love it, embrace it, make love to it, but not too much, just enough, just effortlessly, not forcefully. So that's why we have to release the doing can be forced, the praying can be forced, the thinking can be forced, the faith can be forced. And this is effortless. So it is that gentle hug that will be there in any tradition. And so we're kind of that's where we can truly step into being, is when we connect with the energy of all these connections. So we're harmonizing all these levels so that we can kind of let it kind of integrate in an effortless way. So then we have to kind of use our conscious self, but also our unconscious self. We have to trust, and we have to dare to open ourselves up in the prayer of it, and we have to dare to show up. That's the doing, showing up. But showing up is not so forceful. It can you have to dare to just, yes, there's something in you that pulls you to attend, to show up here, listening here, what the whether it's live or whether it's later, there's something in you that keeps coming back to it. And maybe then you're like, oh, maybe I'll watch, buy the book, buy one of his books, or maybe I'll reach out and say hi. Maybe I'll have a session. Maybe I'll come to a retreat, whether it's online or physical. So there's, or maybe I'll just stay here on these relaxation sessions and take it in for a while until you're ready to go to the next level. There's a blooming. There's like where the little seed, and then there's a path in the dark, in the dirt. We don't know anything at that time, but there's still something. And suddenly we hit the asphalt, and then it will be a push. But then we, for some reason, push, and then we might come out. So then we have air. It's a total different mixtures, and we might start feeling the sun, the smell, different smells, weird, uncomfortable, and then we might start getting some leaves out, and then gradually we go up higher, finding a place where there's more sun, getting away from all the grass, other stuff, getting more like higher up, and then we might be like, oh, we might bring out some blossoms, flowers coming out. So the process has different layers of in it. So it can be both uncomfortable and comfortable, because everything new is something, if we really enjoy just being the seed, we're not going to like the other things. So it takes time to enjoy the energy of this awakening, because it's both, it takes a while before your nervous system is used to the energy, and then suddenly, I'm feeling more bliss, I'm feeling more ease, I'm feeling more calmness, I'm feeling more clarity, I'm feeling more connection. So there's different layers that will connect as we start opening up these different, and my body's starting to feel healthier and weirder. It can be look fatty, or it can look getting the belly, or you can suddenly feel you have all these feelings that suddenly is coming out that you didn't necessarily feel before. You just were more organized into an ego, and suddenly you can feel slim, you can feel fat, you can feel pretty, you can feel ugly, you can feel all these different things come out. You can feel pain. I never really felt pain before I started this journey. So then you start feeling love and ease and contentment and harmony with all parts of your body or your life. So yeah. So lay down, and yeah, if you're new, lay down or sink down, maybe close your eyes. Or everybody's different. Some people like to watch, some people like to just doze away, because the attention is still not to understand everything I'm saying. It's more, sometimes you can listen to it many times, and then it seeps in a, just like a bath. So let's allow the energy to kind of seep in, to kind of go through. If you hear there might be some resistance that you're feeling to what I'm saying, resistance, there's something a little, or like an itch or something, like a little annoying. How dare he talk about these things? There might be some challenges to this. Yeah, and that's where like the breath almost is just like, yes, it just comes sometimes. You move through stuff, and then suddenly there's a breath or just a sneeze, like something energy is moving through the system, or you suddenly feel like pressure, or you're like a yawning. That is like a release. It's like a we're eating a food, and we're like taking it in and letting it move through the system. And I finally have this shirt on again. I haven't had it in a while. It's getting warmer in Chicago. And if you're wondering, yes, I'm from Norway originally, so I kind of moved back and forth since we still are there a lot of times, a lot in the year, going there in a month's time. Yeah, let's bring it through the system. It's almost like energy kind of releases, like just like, when you release your ears in the airplane, all the joints of the body just can breathe open, clear, and comes out in through the thingies. Thingies. Good. We're done for today. There's an online retreat coming up next weekend, the 11th to the no, the 10th to the 12th of June. I shared a little bit on online. I will talk a little bit more about it. Some of you have already seen it. It's a little bit the last retreat before the summer, and yeah, it's gonna be fun to see you there. There's coming in some energy, some resistance from some people will be like, "Oh, this fits perfect." Other will be like, "Oh, this doesn't really fit." What? How? Because there is energy coming in. So that is the kind of the beauty of these retreats. They are not always supposed to be totally fitting. So you have to see, you have to dare to make it fit. See how life will open up to letting it flow. Good, beautiful. And this is what we had for you today, and take it into this Wednesday. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. Saying goodbye here on